Welcome to Commander Pat, the commander of the Aleshia. For a moment, Aleshia. I was going to say Aleshia, but Aleshia. Commander
Aleshia.
Pat Aleshia.
Okay.
Aleshia. Commander of the Nassau County American Legion. And he has his, and you heard exclusively on malcolmpresents.com. Pat, take it away. Introduce your today's guest.
What I'd like to do is introduce Kevin Tierman, who is the director of the American Legion Riders for the Elmont Post, and he's also the county chairman for the American Legion Riders, and he is a member of Rolling Thunder. Okay, Steve McManus is a past county commander, and he's on my staff. He handles the judge advocate. He's the sergeant at arms. He's the chairman of the Credentials and Charters Committee, and he's also in charge of the color guard. So he wears a lot of hats for me.
And his iPhone is going on and off.
Okay.
I'm getting the picture that's going out, and I'm getting the picture.
Well, I see him. I see him.
I see him now. Okay.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is we'll start with Kevin and give him a couple of minutes to talk about his experiences in the American Legion, and then we'll switch to Steve, and then we'll talk a little bit more specifically about what the Legion Riders do for veterans.
Okay.
Okay,
Take it
Kevin?
away.
Hi, like Al said, my name is Kevin Tierman, and I am the current director of the American Legion Riders, Elmont Post 1033. I'm also a member of the American Legion at the Seaford Post, Welsh Junior Post 1132. Like Pat said, you need to be a member of the American Legion family, either a Legionnaire, or auxiliary, to be a member of the American Legion Riders. I'm a United States Air Force veteran. I served during the Cold War from January of 1979 and received an honorable discharge in March of 1983. So the only other positions I've ever held, I was on the executive board at the Seaford American Legion Post as a treasurer in the past. But that pretty much sums up my American Legion history.
Okay, Steve, we'll give you a shot.
Well, I'm Steve McManus. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. I served in the Marine Corps Reserves from 1983 until 1992. I also had the honor of being activated to serving Operation Desert Storm during the Gulf War in 1991. My time in the American Legion, I've served as commander of the American Legion Post in Elmont, also working my way up through the chairs or the different offices in the Nassau County American Legion as the membership officer, the adjutant, the treasurer, and I was commander from 2015 to 2016. Today, I also serve as the Sergeant at Arms for the Nassau County American Legion, the Judge Advocate for Commander Aleshia, and I am also the treasurer of the local Rolling Thunder chapter, Chapter 6 of Long Island.
Yeah, Steve, which I didn't ask, what made you join the American Legion? Because as I say, we were talking in previous shows, it seems like American Legions were getting the Legionnaires were getting much older. You guys seem to be in the prime of your life.
I was very fortunate. When I first got back from Desert Storm, I was only 27 years old. I got back and I was still living in Westbury at the time. I had moved back to my hometown of Elmont, and I was sitting there one afternoon and two gentlemen knocked on the door. It's like, hi, you want to join the American Legion? And I'm like, sure, why not? At the time, I was literally the only member in my post under the age of 40.
Yeah, okay.
But I would never change the experience because I met so many men and so many veterans. As a history buff myself, nothing can ever replace what I learned from these gentlemen. I had dinner with men who were at Pearl Harbor, who were at Normandy, who were at Anzio. Unfortunately, none of these men are with us right now, but I'll never forget the experiences I actually had with them in learning. I'd never learned more about the 20th century than I could from these gentlemen that were my friends in the American Legion.
I have a question now. How many World War II veterans would you say are Legionnaires now? Are there any existing?
There are some. There are a few left, but not too many.
Yeah, because
I
I'm
have-
wondering, yeah.
I have two current members in the Seaford Post that still show up for every meeting that are World War II veterans. They're both 98 years old this
Wow.
year.
Wow.
Yeah, Pat, I didn't know whether, you have access to them, but I'd love to do a show with World War II vets to talk about them.
Okay,
If-
that's a
if-
possibility.
If they are, depending, as we get older, our mind wanders a little bit and our memory is not there, but if you have sharp memories, I'd love to speak to them.
Okay, that's something we'll try to work out.
Or
Sure.
maybe now, maybe even Korean veterans, because these are different times, and these were when, it's hard to say, but when wars were appreciated.
Well,
I mean, appreciated in a way it wasn't
Sure.
negative. It wasn't, soldiers were heroes back then. I think after Vietnam, it wasn't necessarily true. I think it's getting back that way. But anyway, Kevin, how did you join? Why did you join?
Excuse me. That's a weather alert on my phone. Believe it or not, I met a couple of gentlemen playing golf that belonged to the local Legion Post, and I was retired, and I had mentioned that I'm looking to get more active and volunteer. At the time, I was a private veteran, Nassau County Veteran Service Agency, so they asked me, they said, "You're a veteran?" I said, "Yes, and join the American Legion. We do a lot of good there," which is true, they do. So they twisted my arm, and I joined their American Legion Post. So that's how I got started.
Good. Yeah, Pat, since they're into volunteers, we should talk to them about, I don't know if you ever talked to them about Rock and Wrap It Up.
a little bit. No, not a lot, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because I know Sid is always looking for volunteers.
Yes.
Well, I do a show with Sid, another show called Sid and Malcolm, and he does a wonderful job. And then actually, that's how I met Pat. Anyway, continue with what we were talking about.
Okay, so what I'd like to do now, Kevin, is just maybe talk a little bit about what the Legion Riders do in support of the Legion and veterans.
Sure. Well, the American Legion Riders were established back in 1993 in Garden City, Michigan. It's actually post 396, Garden City, Michigan. Today, there's over 2,100 chapters of the American Legion Riders with over 150,000 members in all 50 states and 2 foreign departments. The American Legion Riders, like I said before, to be a member, you must be a member of the Legion family as a Legionnaire, auxiliary, or son. Our riders all share a common interest in motorcycle ownership association to promote the purpose of the American Legion, as well as promoting motorcycle safety and awareness. So the riders nationally got started, and one of the first things we did was a legacy run, the Legion Legacy Run, which was to raise scholarship money for the Legacy Scholarship Fund, which is established to provide scholarship money to children of U.S. military veterans that have been killed since September 11, 2001. Nationally, the American Legion Riders raise approximately $1 million annually for that scholarship fund.
Wow.
On top of that, we ride all year long. We ride to honor fallen military men and women, escorting them, protecting them, and the sanctity of funerals. We escort military units to their departure airports when they're being deployed overseas for combat, as well as welcoming on their return. We're also well known for a lot of charitable work that we do, fundraising for local charities and other motorcycle organizations that run those for things like children's hospitals, schools, veterans homes, severely wounded service members or veterans. We can be found at fundraisers for cancer awareness and cures, Toys for Tots, Building Home for Heroes, other local organizations like Heroes Among Us. We also participate in a lot of local parades and ceremonies.
That's it.
I'm sorry?
No, I was going to ask you about the parades, but you just said it, which is great.
Do you have jackets or insignias or when we're riding?
If you give me 1 second, I'm going to go get my vest.
I mean, how can you be a decent motorcycle rider without a vest or a jacket?
They have a certain uniform that he'll show you right now.
I was going to wear it, but the reason why, as you know, when we do a podcast like this, the camera is reversed. So you won't be able to, it's going to, you can't, because it's reversed.
No, actually, we have it. The American
We can
Legion
see it, yeah, sure.
Riders, yeah.
Yeah, we can read it.
We can read
No
it.
problem.
Well, on my side, it says it's reversed. So we have our center patch. Then we wear the 5 military patches, all 5 branch patches around that patch.
Okay.
In the front, we wear the American flag on our top left side with the POW. Then our whatever position we're holding at the time. And then on our right side is where we wear whatever branch we were in or whatever other awards you want to wear on the right side. So I was a U.S. Air Force veteran, so I wear that. I am a retired police officer. That's why I have that small badge there.
And you press a button, it goes off. We go into the wall, blue yonder.
That's the one.
No, it doesn't happen that way.
How many riders do you say are nationally? They're nationally?
It's over 150,000 riders nationally.
You ever get together on a national convention?
I've never been to a convention. They do them. They have a state convention and then national conventions. I try to stay local. I ride. I have ridden outside of the state for veterans causes. Last year, all the way to Ohio for a veteran who was terminally ill with cancer, but he didn't want his final ride to be his funeral. He ride with other riders one more time. So he invited riders from all over the country to ride with him on the final ride. So we rode out to Ohio to spend the day with him.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Things like that.
Okay, what we'd like to do now is talk to Steve a little bit how Rolling Thunder is either a little different than the riders or exactly how do you become a member of Rolling Thunder, Steve?
Well, Rolling Thunder, although many people believe we are a motorcycle organization, we are not. Rolling Thunder itself was started by 3 Vietnam veterans back in the early 1980s. They started the organization to help bring the POW and MIA cause to the forefront. There are thousands of our soldiers who are still unaccounted for from all the conflicts from the 20th and 21st century. We're trying to get the United States government to recognize this fact and to let their families know that these troops are not forgotten. To be a member of Rolling Thunder, honestly, you just need to be a patriot of the United States and believe in our cause. Believe in the POWs and AMIAs. Believe in supporting our veterans. There's no requirement to own a motorcycle, although we do have leather vests, many of us do wear, which have a very colorful patch on the back with an eagle and chains, representing how our troops are still, many of them are still incarcerated, or we just don't know what happened to them. We do a lot of things as far as raising money for the POWs, raising money for our local veterans and our local veterans' surviving families. We just did a ride, as a matter of fact, this past Sunday. We raised money. It was what we called the Ride for Robbie. And he was a sergeant from the Locust Valley area who died in Afghanistan. He was the victim of a bombing in Afghanistan. We did a ride. There was approximately 250 to 300 motorcycles that met us there. We all met out at the American Legion, the Marine Corps League out in Massapequa. Rode up to Locust Valley in Mass, rode up to Locust Valley. From that point, we came back. We rode to Locust Valley, rode to Bayville. From Bayville, we came back to the Massapequa. And in addition to bringing forth and letting people know what was going on, we had some food trucks there. We accepted donations. We had some motorcycle safety groups there. We also had a motorcycle skills competition, or not really a competition, but it was a demonstration that was put on by some of our local motorcyclists to see these guys take these 1,200-pound motorcycles and drive them through these cones. You know that these guys know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly how to do things safely. And if nothing else, it brings the people out so they can know about our cause. As a matter of fact, one of the guys that was going through these cones, that was doing an outstanding job entertaining the crowd of people that were there, was our own Kevin Turman.
Ah, okay.
But out of curiosity, how many POWs do you say are out there?
There's over 40,000 unaccounted for.
Well, that's POWs and MIAs.
That's correct.
Yeah, do they? I know you always. I don't hear of any. The last I heard of the POWs were basically the guys in Vietnam. I haven't really heard that much about POWs in the in Desert Storm or wars like that. Are there?
Desert Storm, there are, I believe, 10. The conflicts after that, we're talking about Grenada, Panama, Afghanistan, Iraq. There are still many that are unaccounted for. I couldn't give you a specific number,
Right.
but we're still trying to find out what happened to these people.
So you think there are still? I can't imagine being in prison in those countries for that many years.
But
Some of them.
I was just going to say, in reference to Korean War veterans, if you remember, maybe 2 years ago, they started bringing back the remains from Korea of several Korean War veterans. So there is still that, search for them, not across the board,
Yeah, when I think actually the POWs, I was just watching some of the Rambo series. Where he tried to rescue the ones from Vietnam.
Right.
But that's TV, and that's I don't know how real that is.
Yeah, it's not the real world, that's for sure.
So do you guys, do the Thunder and the Writers get together for group activities?
All the time. We're constantly passing each other.
Many of our members are actually dual members of those organizations. And there's another organization called Patriot Guard Riders. So many of our members have dual membership in 1, 2, or 3 of those groups, which all support veterans and have similar interest in promoting the benefits of active duty personnel and veterans and their families. Absolutely.
Do you guys interrelate to any of the other motorcycle groups? I know in I think it was last month in South Dakota, they had this huge motorcycle rally. I don't know if you guys participated or.
Actually, the president of Rolling Thunder, Billy Byrne, did take a ride out to Sturgis.
Oh,
okay. That's for general motorcycle enthusiasts. That's not for basically for veterans causes. Although many of us have been there. I've been to Sturgis in the past. But yeah, we do participate in a lot of some of that fundraising I was talking about, like the Toys for Tots. A lot of other organizations hold those fundraisers. Other motorcycle organizations like the fire department, the volunteer fire departments out here have a motorcycle group. The Marines have a motorcycle group called the Leathernecks. Now they're actually clubs, but if they're doing a fundraiser for something we feel it's a worthy cause, we will ride in supporting during their rides and their fundraisers.
Yeah, for some reason, motorcycle riders get this bad rap because of all the the Hollywood movies, and I was starting against with Marlon Brando.
I've actually had a phrase I started when I was the commander of the American Legion. I always used to always constantly give praise to our Legion riders, because lots of times, like you said, motorcycle riders get a bad rap. And the phrase I always used was, I know many patriots that do not ride motorcycles, but I know very few people who are motorcycle riders who are not patriots.
When did you guys start riding motorcycles?
I started about 16 years ago.
And
now I had a midlife crisis at 40, and I went out.
And
Kevin, were you a teenage rider, or?
I started riding a teenage, but not legally. My brother owned a motorcycle. When nobody was home, I used to take it out of the garage. But I owned motorcycles on and off for many years. But there was a good long time when I wasn't riding, and after I retired and joined the American Legion, I recently just bought another motorcycle, got back into it. So I'm basically do all over again.
And
but-
Malcolm, I wanted to tell you one thing. I was on a motorcycle once, many years ago, when I was on active duty. A buddy of mine had I think it was a Bonneville motorcycle. So he asked me if I wanted to take a ride. And I said, okay. So we went on this bike. And when we ended the ride, I made the sign of the cross and said that I would never go on a motorcycle for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to die. That's how bad it was.
Pat, that's why we agree on a lot of things. I was on the back of a motorcycle. I remember.
Okay.
I was working up in the Catskills, and I had to go back to New York. I lived in Brooklyn, and the guy that I worked with said, "Oh yeah, I'm going back to New York. You want to ride?" And I said, "Fine." I didn't realize he had a motorcycle,
Oh boy.
and I drove back on the motorcycle for about an hour and a half. And we're going in the New York State freeway, going about 70, 80 miles an hour. I think I got off the motorcycle. I was 18. I think I got off the motorcycle. I was 45.
That was some experience.
And that was the last time I was on a motorcycle.
Okay.
I do have to say this though, and trust me, Steve will know what I'm talking about. I trust every one of the guys I ride with. Trust them with my life. But I'm not getting on the back of anybody's motorcycle.
Okay.
No, sorry, not doing it.
Not you either?
So that's interesting. Wait a second. You guys are both riders, but you won't be passengers on a motorcycle? That's interesting.
But
Yes,
why
that's
not?
correct. I don't.
You've never done that?
Nope.
Wow. Okay. That's
The
something
only
I
thing-
learned tonight.
the only thing I can come close to is like, I drive a car, right? And I feel safe driving a car. When I'm in the passenger side of a car, my foot is always on the brake.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what? When a car stops, I'm putting my foot in the brake. When he wants to make a right turn, I'm looking to see that it's clear.
Yes. Yeah. When I drive with my wife, she drives for me sometimes too, even though she's in the passenger seat.
Yeah. Well, now actually, I have something wrong with my vision. I don't have the depth perception. So if I don't have to drive, I don't drive because I can't tell how far a car is behind me. So my wife is doing most of the driving.
Okay.
I get into the car and I am going so damn slow. You know, I feel the people behind me saying, "Oh my God, another old man driving a car." But I guess that's where you feel, I'm riding the back of a bike where you don't have the control.
Right. It's a control.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. You're in the hands of somebody else that you're
Right.
not sure of. That's part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, aside, as you three being vets, you're always, especially when you're in combat, you're always in the hands of somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean,
True.
I do trust them with my life.
Yeah,
Back of my-
literally.
Yep.
Yeah, so someone has to have your back and you have to have their back. So there has to be that amount of trust.
I have a question for Steve. The Rolling Thunder organization, is it the same configuration of the Legion Riders where you have secretary, treasurer, and things like that?
Oh, yes, yes. We have a president, vice president,
Okay.
treasurer. Actually, I'm the treasurer for our local chapter.
Okay.
You have a secretary, you have a sergeant at arms.
All right. So
As
you
a
have
matter
the
of
same.
fact, that in reference to our president's name is Bill Byrne.
Mhm.
And he himself is not a veteran, but I have never met a man who is more patriotic in my entire life. He'll go
Okay.
to a restaurant and if he thinks somebody in that restaurant, and I've been there when he's done it, is a veteran, no questions asked. I want to see that person's waiter. He pays their bill. He pays for their meal. He'll think nothing of getting on a bike. And he did this a couple of years ago. A couple of the local soldiers and a couple of local Marines had passed. They were killed in Afghanistan. He got a bunch of guys together. They drove from Long Island, Dover, Delaware to escort his remains back to Locust Valley to make sure that he was taken care of.
Wow.
On September 11th, Bill is actually doing another ride. He's starting at the Montauk Lighthouse, going from the Montauk Lighthouse to Ground Zero to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, to the Pentagon, and turning around in one day.
Wow. Very
He's doing the
impressive.
911 miles.
Woo.
Did you find out that members of your club tend to be a little younger? The riders and the Thunder?
It's kind of, I guess so. We have multi-generational. We have Vietnam vets that ride with us. These guys are in their 70s now.
Yeah.
And then we have young guys that are, maybe in their 30s.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if that would attract a younger type of crowd.
It might.
They're more into bikes.
It does attract, yes.
Yeah, because when I think of a biker, I don't think of someone that's 70 years old on the back of a bike. But I know there are.
Yeah, well, I don't know about Steve, but I'm over 60 now, so we are the younger, and we're already over 60. But I younger members in the American Legion Riders. I have an Iraqi war veteran. She wasn't deployed. She's a female Air Force veteran. She's our secretary. Her son as son's of the American Legion, but he's now a Legion Rider. So he's in his 20s. So we do have a handful of young.
Yeah, Stephen, another question for you real quick. You said that you don't have to be a veteran to join Rolling Thunder, but do you have veterans as members? Obviously, you and Kevin are both members.
Oh, yes, we have many veterans.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Are there many people now? Well, it's an all. Did you have many women in the bike riders?
In Rolling Thunder, well, in Rolling Thunder, our chapter only has 3 women that actually ride their own motorcycles. But there's about 17 women who are in our organization.
Who are not riders?
They are not. They do not ride. Sometimes they'll ride on the back of, it'll be a husband and wife that join the chapter together, or a boyfriend, girlfriend. They'll hop on the back. My girlfriend joined about a year ago. She has her own Harley. She rides her own.
And Kevin?
We do. I know of one female Legion rider.
You have one female Legion. One of the biggest differences between the Legion Riders and Rolling Thunder, or even Patriot Guard Riders, the Legion Riders actually has a requirement to be a Legion Rider that you have to have ownership and ride a motorcycle.
Okay.
So to be a rider, you can't be a passenger, you have to be the rider. I would think somebody should change that, so a spouse or somebody should be allowed to join, even if it's an honorary member, but that's not an option right now. It is required that you own a motorcycle and legally ride one.
Did you have any branches out? I live in the Los Angeles area in Sherman Oaks, California. Do you have any branches out over here that you know of?
When you say branch,
of the riders of
the riders.
There are many posts on Long Island that have Legion Riders. Elmont is the only post in Nassau County that has riders, but I believe Suffolk County has at least 5 or 6 posts that have Legion Riders.
I'm talking about Los Angeles.
California.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
What they are. You could find them all on the internet if you look them up. They either have Facebook pages or some type of website or contact information. I'm sure they're out there, but I offhand I don't know.
No, because if you drive on the freeways, by the way, I think you not necessarily your groups, but I think that the motorcycle riders in Los Angeles are crazy, because I know it's legal to drive between 2 cars.
That's cool.
And I know on the freeway, and I'm going like slow, if I'm going 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, and I'm staying in my lane, and all of a sudden I'll see a motorcycle pass me.
Yep.
And if you see one motorcycle, generally they go with at least groups of 10.
Oh boy.
And you see them pit and you go, oh my God, because let's say you decide to change your lane or swerve.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lane splitting is in California, although I don't know how the law is written, but I'm pretty sure that they're allowed to do it, but they're only supposed to go a certain speed faster than the other vehicle. So in other words, if you're in heavy traffic, the traffic's moving at 20 miles an hour, they're not supposed to be doing 80 miles an hour. faster than, no faster than those cars.
But I know about them, but I get scared.
Oh, yeah.
I see them and say, oh, what would happen if I all of a sudden decided to change? And then
Yep.
you have to make quick movements. I drove a cab when I was in college in Manhattan. I drove a cab in New York City. And
Oh
I
my
learned
God.
I learned how to drive with 2 feet. You know,
Yep.
because I had 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brake.
Mhm.
So if I'm driving, if I'm stopped and the other lane opens, I just take my foot off the brake and go on the gas. So I didn't have to switch. And,
Well,
and
that's
that
what motorcycle, we could do that, because
Yeah.
the throttle's with your hand.
Yeah.
You could run your hand on the throttle and your foot over the brake.
yeah, that could be dangerous. Can you could downshift like that also, right?
Yep, you could downshift, yep.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
know, I live in the San Fernando Valley, so a lot of the times when I'm in Manhattan, when I'm in like Hollywood or Beverly Hills and going through the past roads, and that's when you're going 40, 45 miles an hour, and here comes a curve. You don't brake, you downshift.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the fun of driving, by the way. But I hate it when you're when you have to go like bumper to bumper traffic and first, second, third, second. Anyway, guys, it's a very interesting show, but you believe it or not, our half hour is up.
Wow, that went quick.
That went fast.
It went fast. Yeah, I mean, again, it's just like, guys getting together and talking.
Sure.
Yep.
Tell your friends, it's malcolmpresents.com. And we have, I think, Pat has a show, I think it's the 3rd show, 4th show.
Fifth.
3rd? Oh, a 5th show. Oh my God. All our back shows are on. You go to malcolmpresents.com. You go to Commander Pat Aleshia.
Okay,
Click on that and you can see all the back shows as well as my other shows. And I met Pat on, it's called Sid and Malcolm with
Right.
Sid Mandelbaum, because he was a volunteer. In fact, Pat does a lot of volunteering.
With
Yes,
Sid.
he does.
Yes.
Anyway,
Sid is also- he's the commander of the American Legion. What is it? Cedarhurst Post 339.
Cedarhurst.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, it was nice meeting you. Thank you.
You
By
too,
the way,
Malcolm.
Buff, yeah,
Okay.
thank you for your
Steve.
service.
Thank you, Kevin and Malcolm. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk a little bit.
Yeah, okay. I see, Pat, I'll see you next week.
You got it, buddy. Have a good
Bye.
one.
take care, bye-bye.
Have a good night, everybody.
Okay.